Hey everybody, welcome to Spirit Science. I'm Diane Wansier of soulrestoration.ca.
Heather Garrett, Planet Botanics, planetbotanics.com, with our special guest,
Moira Hutchison. Moira, again, another person I don't remember where we met. I think maybe a couple of years ago. I think I do remember. I think it was that Halloween party. That party. No, it was that party where we were doing readings. I think that's where we met. So,
I'll be right.
Yeah, Moira, I will. We're going to let you explain what you do and who you are. Moira is very, very gifted, talented, and awesome,
and does a lot of modalities. Ton. The one thing I'm really curious about is the latest ones. The two latest ones, the karma one and the one about the fingerprints. But
absolutely.
So tell us all about, first thing, how do people reach you? The first thing.
So it's wellnesswithmoira.com is my website, and you can contact me right through there. So wellnesswithmoira.com.
Wellnesswithmoira.com. Okay. So, yeah, tell us more about you and
or maybe your journey.
Yeah,
so this is a good, because there's
everything
a really
in 10 minutes.
There's a really good it's a really good tie-in as to why I did the last two that you're just mentioning, Heather. My journey was into helping people get unstuck. So that's what I was doing for a number of years, was help people get unstuck. So I was doing hypnosis and teaching people their intuition and developing the inner wisdom and things like that. And then I sort of had a tribe around me, and I'm looking at them and thinking, none of them are stuck now. They're still needing more. They were needing more meaning. That's when I started reading things like Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And I started thinking, so these people aren't necessarily stuck, but they want purpose. They want to find their meaning. So once I was helping people get unstuck through the hypnosis and the coaching, then it was kind of like, good, now what? And so then I started, I took a certification a couple of years ago called Life Purpose Guide. And that was a real pivotal piece for me, because now I was being able to really coach people into what were they here for? What was their meaning? And then it was like, okay, now they have their meaning, so now how do they get on track? And how do they sort of bring that into everyday life? And so that's when I really started, the two pieces that I did. You mentioned about the fingerprints. The fingerprints was a couple of years ago as well, when I was doing the deeper into life purpose. Fingerprint analysis, you know how you have all your fingerprints, they're formed in utero. And so it's the idea is, as a soul, this is when you print on this entity, this is what I'm coming in for. So on your fingerprints, I can help you see what's your life purpose. What did you come in for? I need to speak later.
Yeah, I'm giving her a little, speak up.
I know I get into my
We do that. We do. We're actually, we always talk to people who end up we all work in these gentle, beautiful energies.
Right. And now we have to
go into trance, and now we're like, we're going to talk.
That's what I say. Well, I'm a hypnotherapist, so I go into that.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you can tell people just by looking and analyzing what's the fingerprints themselves. But the cool part about that is that the markings on your hand actually change as you change. So that's a really nice part to just help people sort of see what's their map, what they originally did. But then you can kind of say, well, here's an area that they could work on, and then they can come back. So
that's interesting, because I had mine done a number of years ago. And I thought, well, I guess I never need to have it done again, but obviously I do.
Yeah, you do. Because like I said, the fingerprint part and the purpose in life will never change. The neat thing that I found out in doing that too is that there's a difference between your left and right. Your left is truly what you came in to do. And then on your right shows up, this is what now I'm here, this is how I have to do it. Right. So in fact, it's really funny, because I have, on a soul level, I was going to be extremely creative. But on how do I handle the life here, as I became very sort of masculine, very driven, I got to get things done instead of being more. So part of the lesson for me was to start embracing that more. It was like, on a soul level, I want that more sort of right brain creative part. So that part is really nice to know, that to really help you get balance. Yeah, absolutely. So from that point, that's when I started studying, well, I actually put together a workshop called, I'm actually teaching it this weekend, called Life Purpose and Beyond, because my journey into this with the Life Purpose Guide and then the fingerprint part took me into studying Dharma types.
Mm-hmm.
So Dharma types, my teacher always said, in order for us to blow karma, you know how we're all on this karmic wheel, and we keep doing, as souls, we keep doing this over and over again until we
I'm rolling my eyes
figure
now.
it out. So in order to
Whoop, sorry.
see that rocks your world,
It did.
obviously.
Oh.
We have to get in touch with our Dharma,
Mm-hmm.
and that stops the going around that circle.
So what's your Dharma?
Your Dharma is your life purpose. But it's your life purpose, it's your soul purpose.
Okay.
So Dharma is what feeds karma.
So does your Dharma remain the same throughout your lifetimes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the idea is that at some point, so does it ever end? Do you ever reach that point? I actually had that question about Buddhism when I was in university. Do you ever reach this place where you've found it and you're practicing it? Do you then not come back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're all doing, isn't it? Is that, so this is going into, have you looked at the work of the Law of One?
No.
The ascension process, because this is all tied into this Dharma idea too. The idea from the Law of One materials is that we are going from a third density planet, the 3D reality, and what we're going through right now is coming up to, they call it fourth, fifth. And so it actually relates to your chakra energy too. So 3D is more into the solar plexus energy, the self, the physical reality, where we're transitioning into fourth, fifth, which is heart, throat. So we're becoming into unconditional love and speaking. But once we do that, we actually stop the Dharma that brought us into here. We actually then, that's ascension, basically. That's what that's talking about. And there's so many there's lots of different pieces about that's what 2012 was supposed to be. And then they said, no, it's 2015. And now it's, so, and it's more as it keeps going, it's interesting because 2016 is a 9-year in numerology terms. So to me, I'm sort of watching lots of things ending. And then next year, I think 2017, 2018, we're actually going to start seeing much more of that lifting and people really connecting with their Dharma. Or not. Because the other part, if you actually could start going and checking that Law of One series, there are some people some souls that are going to say, no, it's not
Absolutely.
me.
Mm-hmm. I know some of them.
I know a lot of them.
I think we all do. I think we all do. But see so that's the thing too. And so then the other part was about the Dharma types is this body of work that I've studied is Ayurvedic astrology or Jyotish.
Okay.
So it's based on the checking to see what a person's Dharma type is really based upon their Ayurvedic astrology chart. And I never knew I was going to study astrology. I swore blind I was never going to do it. But what's really neat about Ayurvedic is that it's way older than Western astrology.
Sure.
It
makes
like,
sense.
Yeah, it's like the daddy of it all. So this body of work, I don't know that I'll actually ever take another certification like that. This is 8 months of my work, and it's very intense. And every time I turn around, it's like, oh, there's another rabbit hole I want to dive down, and there's another piece I want to bring into it. But with it, I just recently got the certification and passed the exams. Thank goodness. It was a very intense, very amazing journey. It's the first time it's been done. My teacher's based in Phoenix, and he decided to put together 17 years worth of work and certify people to do this Dharma and the Dharma work and help people really line up with what they came as souls to do. But what's really interesting is similar to astrology. You know how we all go through the influence of all the different signs. So if I'm an Aries, I'm going to still go through chapters of my life of every type. It's the same for Dharma. So each Dharma type, there's actually 5 main Dharma types. And so all of us are one of them at a soul level. But then we go through phases, and they're all
Of
different.
the other ones?
Yes.
Like you go through all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's very interesting because the 5 types are warrior, educator, laborer, merchant, and outsider. And outsider is the biggest group in our time.
So can you repeat those? Warrior. Just I want to make sure we can.
So warrior are the defenders. They're the ones that look after everybody else.
Okay.
Educators are the teachers. They teach the warriors what you defend, what you look after.
Okay.
Merchants make everything sellable. We live in a merchant society. That's why we have to have the newest, glitziest new model.
And don't we make ourselves wrong for it?
Oh yeah, that's
right?
part of the merchant.
Yeah.
You want to always be wearing the best thing and the new style.
Yeah.
Laborers are the nurturers. They're the ones that actually produce the products that the merchants then sell, and so they really are the ones that look after all of us. And then the outsiders, and like I say, outsider is the biggest group. They don't fit any of them. They kind of think, why can't I fit in with groups around me? And but the thing about outsiders is they can actually play any of them. And the really cool example I love to give about that one is Albert Einstein was an outsider playing an educator. And think about that for a minute. I love his work. He had amazing things to teach us, but he was wacky, right? He was so nonconformist.
I wonder if
Especially his hair.
I know.
I wonder if Dharma types would line up with the angel realms that Doreen Virtue talks about. Because it sounds like the outsiders might, because I'm thinking in terms of like when we talk about angel realms or the angelic realms that Doreen talks about, the outsiders would be the star people.
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because often when you're like, when I've done readings with people, you know, you find that a lot. I mean, I find that most people feel like they're outsiders, whether it's their dharma or not. Most people carry that feeling because they haven't found themselves and they don't match other people. But beyond that, there are, you know, the star people who feel even less like they belong here. So I'm just thinking, not knowing enough about dharmas, I wonder if they would coincide with the realms.
I could see that on some levels. But something that I'm feeling while you're describing that is that an example of it is, for me, my dharma type is educator. I'm a spiritual teacher, which it's nice to land in that and get that. But it was really funny. While I was going through the course, we all learned on our own astrology chart. So I kept going through all of the tests. So there's a test that I get people to do, and I kept doing it on myself, and I kept coming up, I'm an outsider. I'm an outsider. So it's like, yay me, I'm showing up as Einstein. That's what I kept saying. I am an outsider being an educator.
Right.
So one day I had a one-on-one discussion with my teacher, and he kept saying to me, Moira, you are an educator. Hands down, you're an educator right through and through. And I'm like, no. And I was telling him all these different parts. And then we looked at my chart, because we can, and I have the software to do this, I can look from the day you were born to now and see the phases that you've played. And so when we went through it, I went through it with him together, I actually have lived in outsider periods almost half of my life.
Right.
So he said,
so you have that influence.
You think. So
right.
It's exactly what you just said about so many people think that they don't fit.
Yeah.
But if they're running these outsider periods based on the planets that are affecting them, then yes, they don't think they fit in.
Whenever you compare yourself to other people, you're always going to feel like an outsider because you're not meant to be somebody else. You're meant to be you. And I think that's one of the key things about life is figuring out who you are and
being okay with it.
And being okay with it,
totally
and giving yourself permission to be that, right?
But I think it's also very validating to find out those things. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, oh, thank God. Okay, so this is why it works. And I think the other part of what you're saying is the parts that don't fit have an explanation as well.
Exactly.
Which is reassuring.
That's why it reminds me of the angel realms, because it's that same, you know, when you can tell somebody you're part of that realm, you're part of that realm, and you're who you are, it fits the description, and you know you're part of this other thing. It's very validating.
It's very validating and liberating, because you know the thing is in what you're both saying is that we're not taught that.
No.
We're not taught, hey, go find your uniqueness and embrace it and bring it into the world.
Sorry, we keep hitting the table.
Which is in actual fact what outsiders are supposed to do, because each outsider does have a specific gift, and their job is to go and find it and bring it to the rest of us. But I don't know about you, but I was never taught that as a child, was to...
No, you're taught to conform and fit into a certain...
look at them.
I just heard an Abraham Hicks clip on YouTube, so maybe I'll share it in the group yesterday, and it was just exactly about this. You know how on YouTube you can listen to bits of Abraham Hicks's workshops or seminars, and it's this dad who comes on and talks about how he has this one child who doesn't fit in with the educational system because he learns things in different ways, and they got a call from the school that he's not this and not that, and so Abraham talks about, well, you can only do this, but what you can do is teach your child how beautiful they are and their uniqueness. So it's exactly, oh my God, it's exactly, I'll post it in the group. But anyway, I want to go back to you, sorry.
No, and that's because I think that really in all of this work about the life purpose, really the underlying piece that I'm doing is saying to people, what your purpose is to find out who you are. And unconditionally love all aspects of you.
Sorry, finish your thought and then I'll
No, but that's really it. It's just that's the underlying piece. The purpose.
For whatever reason it's coming in, I'm thinking about autism and something else that I've lost now, but children who are autistic have, and Down syndrome children, a lot of the time parents will say, this child has given me a gift that no other child could have given me. And I'm wondering, obviously from a dharmic point of view, that works.
Absolutely.
Right? That's their gift, that's why they're here. So what of the 5 dharmas, would they be the outsider or would they be the educator? Because they're teaching their parents and society about the way children and people who don't fit into the model are gifts to us.
It could be both, actually, because the thing about outsiders is, like I said, they all have a specific gift and they need to find it and bring it in. But the really neat thing about a lot of outsiders is that they do blend things that are already there. So they're not basically coming in with brand new inventions. That's more of like the educators might do something like that, where an outsider might take 2 systems and go, oh look, these work better. Things like fusion cooking or the jazzercise type things. Those are outsiders' innovations that are coming in.
So they bring a different perspective.
Yeah.
To and all the things that we're looking at in kind of a linear way, and we can't see that there's something else.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think of an outsider.
You are.
Well, I think that, like I said,
or I could be like you, and
you could have. It could be that's been a really big part of your life.
Yeah.
I know that once I saw that okay, now I get it. Yeah. It's actually been very stabilizing for me.
I can see that,
Because now it's like, okay, so there is part of me that still feels a bit of a non-conformist, but that's because of the heritage or what I've come through. But it's also part, because in actual fact, educators are late bloomers, generally speaking, because they have to go through lots of learning and different experiences and then be able to educate and mentor other people.
Do you find that there's generally speaking, the people who will come to you for this information, do they tend to be of 1 or 2 dharma types generally?
No, I've actually...
You do get a great mix of...
Okay. Yeah. And I was thinking it's kind of like the doshas too, and it's our thinking, it's our limited thinking that's like, well, I'm only one dosha. You're never only one dosha, very rarely, right? No. So the doshas are the 3 Ayurvedic types that can be the body, whether you're hot, cold, fat, thin, like your whole metabolistic type, and if that's even a word. But I think it must be the same way with everything, except that we want to pigeonhole everything, right? And that's why the school system doesn't work either.
We also try to pigeonhole our entire being into the physical body. So
I know, and we
do it on so many levels,
we
right?
have to realize there's only a small percentage of our soul is really here because we blow ourselves apart. But you know, the other part that you're making me think of is I do Akashic record readings, and one of the things that I get to do with that is that there's said to be 8 soul ingredients or energies that make up each one of our souls. So I see I talk about souls as being like, you know, when yeast starts to bud and it's got all the little bubbles. So that's how I see souls, is that we're these bubbles.
I don't know if we'll ever look at it the same way again.
Sorry.
It's all good.
But so the thing is that each one of us has all 8 of those ingredients. But in my readings, usually it's 1 or 2 prime ingredients. So, and these ingredients, they're called, they're things like divine love, or divine joy, or divine compassion, divine wisdom. And these are the pieces that make us up as souls. And so when and I think everybody does this, it doesn't matter what you're learning, when you read one definition, oh, that's me. And then you read the next one, oh, that's me. And then you read some and you think, no, that's definitely not me. And it's usually those ones
those are in your shadows.
Can you just go back for a minute, and can you define Akashic Records for those people who are watching that don't know what that is?
Sure. So the best way to describe it is to talk about the different dimensions. So, yes, you can give me a hug. So we all know what 3D, third dimension is, right? That's our bodies. This is most solid. The next dimension is the 4th dimension, and that some people call that the dimension of the ego. That's where our mental field and our emotions are. They're actually happening outside of the physical body. They're kind of they are kind of making up what we feel, what we experience. That's a field around us. And then the next field is the 5th dimension, and that's the dimension where the Akashic Record resides. So if you kind of think of everybody's going around like a smushed down layer cake, this 3rd, 4th, 5th is always talking to each other, right? Because your Akashic Record is like the history of every choice, every experience you had since you first became that little yeast bubble, remember?
Wow, I'm getting hungry. The yeast and the
so this whole
cake.
I know, sorry.
All good.
I'm a baker's daughter. That's so it's like this golden thread from when you first became a soul all the way to now, as then, and I'm saying it in a linear fashion but there's no such thing as time.
Right.
Because you know the other part that I get to do is the manifesting blueprint readings that I do. I'm actually going to the 7th dimension. Now the 7th dimension is said to be the last dimension where we are aware of separation. See, here we are with our 3D. We know this is your body and this is your body, it's my body. On the 4th dimension, it gets a little bit blurry. You might be feeling something, but it might be mine, or you might be thinking something, it might be my thoughts. So there's a little blurriness here.
Yeah.
In the 5th, definitely it's separate, but you don't know that where my record is or have any sense of that. So it's kind of woven. Akashic Record is a field of woven thread. Each thread belongs to each soul, but it's woven for sure. And then the 6th dimension is kind of a overlap place, but then into the 7th, which is where it's called the manifesting blueprint. It's as a soul, we decide if we are into the process of making a goal or the achievement of the goal, or if we're into surrounding people with like-minded, or we see ourselves best in contrast. So there's lots of different, this is a really cool piece of work in that part. But like I say, and after the 7th dimension, we are all one. And so that one's just a really neat field.
So do you teach people to work within this? I'm asking for a reason. I'm finding this, what you're talking about, the 7th dimension. Do you teach people how to work within that energy then? Like, so we're getting close to the time, because in this 3rd dimension, there is time.
There is, I know, unfortunately.
So there's so much that you do and that you know that's fascinating. Specifically, do you teach people about the 7th dimension? How to manipulate it? How do you work within it? Or it's more informational? And then more specifically, what do you do if people want to contact you and work with you? What do you do? What do you offer them? You know what I mean?
So that's lots of questions in there.
Well, yeah.
So with the 7th dimension, no, I don't really specifically teach people how to operate in that, because it's getting a bit too far to take a step back. When I do the Akashic Record readings, there's always stuff comes up to be cleared. That's the whole reason I'm doing it. There's a piece in there that's called soul realignment. And so basically I'm asking your record what's ready to be released and taken it all away so that you can be more in alignment with you as a soul.
Wonderful.
When I've done that, I give you homework, because what I do is I do the clearing in the fifth dimension, so it's actually in your fifth dimension. But the homework I give you is a 21-day process to actually bring it down through your fifth, through your fourth, and into your third, so you actually really feel it. And I've had amazing feedback, because as people start feeling it, they have all these really awesome letting go dreams and experiences. It's really, really awesome feedback, and then they feel really empowered because they're really embodying it and bringing it down here.
Right.
So, but then with the seventh dimension work, that one's really cool, because when I sit with people and show them as a soul at the seventh dimension, this is what you were intended, or this is how you manifest, or how you operate. None of us are in alignment with that, because if we were, we'd all be doing this. We'd be done. Exactly. So in that reading, I'm showing people what they are at a soul level and what they're doing right now, and that is just a beautiful visit. And from there, I actually have a number of processes to help set goals, like what you're going to do. Now that one, the two examples that I gave you are the biggest pieces that people are so grateful to find out. For me, for instance,
because I'd like to rent a room in the seventh dimension. Can I do that?
Go hang out there.
Anything going?
I don't know. I like the 3D sometimes. You know, we can get stuff done. We're here for a reason.
We'll talk later.
Heather thinks I'm already.
She's going.
I can read your mind.
But you asked about what I do. So I actually have my own office, and I do offer a free consultation, because a lot of people will look at all the sessions I do,
your
the
menu.
services. The menu, the scroll.
Get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And they do, but they get a sense of, wow, I know you can help me with something. So generally what I do is I actually put programs together. People will usually work with me over a 6-month or a year period, and we set that up. They come to me to tell me what's going on, where they'd like to be, and generally speaking, when people are in a program with me, they actually get access to every single session that I offer.
Right, so it's not about somebody choosing what they want, it's the outcome that you're looking for, which is more alignment with yourself, and
It's just what tools you decide
and then
to
you
use
do
to help them achieve that goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will come specifically, no, I want that kind of reading, and that's because they're aware enough to say that I just want that outcome.
I need that in this moment. Right.
Yeah. But then even people who are in the sort of longer term agreements, they might sort of turn around and say, no, I want that reading now.
Yeah.
Other times they'll start and they'll say, don't touch me with that because I'm not ready, and then you know, come a couple weeks later.
That makes
everything.
sense.
I used to work with a shaman, and I usually would just say, whatever, you know, you decide. But I remember one time where I was just emotionally spent, and I said, I just want table work. I don't feel like working through anything today, you know. But it's. I mean, you're the master, so you know that's part of your gift is knowing what that person needs.
Exactly. But I think I say that to a lot of people, is I'm willing to do that, to sit and say, you need this, and then you need this, and you need this.
Yeah.
But as quickly as possible, I want them to wake up to be able to say, no, Moira, I want this now. And
Self-empowerment.
Exactly. Because I don't want it to be I have to do this because Moira said.
Absolutely.
Right. It's to really get them.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's really what all of our stories with practitioners are about, how to teach people to help themselves. And that's the main difference to me in being holistic and being like an allopathic doctor who says, oh, well, you've got a headache. Well, let's not explore that exactly.
Yeah.
Let's medicate it. Let's push it down, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And what we all do is say, let's get it out.
Let's figure out where it is and get it out.
Yeah.
And that it's possible to get it out, and that we have tools to get that out.
That's right.
But also find the gift. There's always a gift
good
underneath there.
point.
It's like, okay, it might be painful, but you know, take the pain away. But let's go and see what's the gift.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for coming.
Goodness, so much information in such a little amount of time. But thank you for being
fun,
so.
We'll have you again sometime.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so Moira Hutchison at wellnesswithmoira.com, and she's on Facebook.
All your
and you work virtually as well, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Skype and Zoom, actually.
Awesome.
Yes.
So please feel free to share this video, and if anyone you know thinks they might need Moira's services, now you know how to get in touch.
Yes.
So thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.